That's so funny.
Okay, welcome everyone to the NeuroHackademy. If you're not here for the NeuroHackademy, you're in the wrong place. My name is Noah Benson. I've been communicating to a lot of you over email and over Slack and such. I was planning to have on the screen here, great big, the face of my colleague, Ariel Rokem, who is also running this, but we are having technical difficulties with our screen. So what I'm going to ask all of you in person to do is to please mute yourself and log into the Alder Auditorium Zoom room that we put in the Slack channel. That way you'll be able to see the slides that we have for this first session. Basically, we just have an intro session where we're going to talk a little bit about the NeuroHackademy. We're going to kind of show you some of the tools we're going to use, and then we're going to have an icebreaker towards the end of this. So please log into Zoom to see those slides. If we haven't got the screen fixed by the next session at 10:30, we will have the session in a different room where we think we can get the screen to work. But for now, we'll just plan to have it here. And I'll let you all know if it looks like we're going to need to go somewhere else. Just to double check, everyone online, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Okay, great. In that case, I will go ahead and share my screen.
Recording in progress. Recording.
Oh, I don't know if that's... All right. Online, do you see the slides? Okay, great. All right. Give me 1 second to hide all of this Zoom nonsense on my screen. Okay. Welcome everyone to the NeuroHackademy. Something that is not, I mean, this has been happening for over a decade now, but neuroscience has been changing quite a bit in the last decade, in no small part because there's been a huge push in giant data sets like the Human Connectome Project, the ABCD data set, the Child Mind Institute, the UK Biobank. These are enormous data sets that have tons and tons of subjects, tons and tons of measurements in them. And they've really changed the way we do neuroscience. They all contain large amounts of data, far larger and very different from the kind of past paradigm of doing neuroscience in a small laboratory with little experiments. That is not to say there's anything wrong with doing neuroscience in a small laboratory with little experiments. Those are, in fact, very valuable parts of the whole neuroscience endeavor. But there's been this kind of rearrangement in the last decade or so to more people doing large and complex data sets in order to probe questions a little more deeply or a little more to look at things like individual variability and to try to get at different questions and different aspects of questions in neuroscience. There's a lot of advantages here. Large sample sizes give you a lot more confidence in your results. You can better represent populations and variability. You have the opportunity to ask questions about more complex interactions between things. You can also do data-driven exploratory research, which is at least one of my favorite things to do in research. In particular, these approaches, and I mean data science in general, but data science, machine learning, large data, AI, these are all proliferating very rapidly across not just research, but industry and the whole world right now. So big data is great, but it's also very challenging, or it can be very challenging. It takes a lot more computational, it takes a lot more, it has a lot greater demands of your hardware, just the computation that you need to do. It becomes much harder to keep track of things. Interpreting really large data sets with lots of diverse subjects can become very difficult and complicated. One of the main reasons, at least one of the main motivations for this program, is that traditional research curriculums and traditional neuroscience curriculums tend to ignore these methods because they're very new. So in our experience, the vast majority of neuroscience programs don't offer very much computer programming, and they don't offer very good resources for learning how to work with great big data. And part of the motivation of providing this program, the NeuroHackademy, is to try to help fill the gaps among traditional programs in neuroscience and psychology. This course will focus largely on a few topics, machine learning and statistics being one of them. We'll talk about data visualization, high performance cloud-based computing. We'll focus a lot on open source software. And that goes hand in hand with reproducibility and data and code sharing. And collaborative research. And we'll talk about this a little more in a minute, but this is intended to be a highly collaborative event, and we'll expect you all to get into groups and work on things together. Data science ethics is another big topic here, which we'll talk about more a little bit later. So let me just talk a little bit about what the NeuroHackademy is and how it's organized. So you're here for 2 weeks, and the 2 weeks are very different. This first week is organized largely into a series of lectures with a little bit of group work thrown in. And in the second week, we're hoping that you will take some of the tools and ideas we talk about in the first week, pair them up with some kind of data set probably, and work on some hack project in groups that you're inspired to work on by this first week. If you're following along on the slides, what you should see right now is the schedule for week 1. There's also a schedule on our webpage. If you just go to neurohackademy.org/calendar, there's a schedule for both weeks listed there. So right now we're in the upper left here in this very first session, and after this we'll have a coffee break and an icebreaker, and pretty much every day from 10 to 10:30 and from 3 to 3:30 there'll be a coffee break, and there'll be some coffee out here and snacks. You'll notice that at certain times there is a choice of 2 different things that you can go to. For example, today from 1:30 to 3 p.m. there are 2 different options after lunch. There are 2 different options, either Intro to Python or Designing Libraries in Python. So those will be 2 sessions that are held at the same time. One of them will be held in this room in the Alder Auditorium, or in this Zoom room in the Alder Auditorium Zoom room. The other will be held in a room right over here. I'm pointing at it right now, Alder 103. There's also an Alder 103 Zoom room. We'll make sure you have all these links prior to the event. You have a choice which one you go to. Pick whichever one you think is more appropriate. We will post a little bit more information about them prior to the event. But if you think you really want to see both of them, that's fine. We're going to record everything and we're going to post it all online. So what I can't promise is that it will appear as soon as it's done, but it will appear within about 24 hours. We'll have it on our website so you can go find it and watch it a little bit later. Okay. So there are a bunch of instructors who are going to be giving lectures. They're all shown here on this slide. Some of these instructors are like me, are going to be in person, and they're going to be up in front of the room talking. If you are here in person and you would like to talk to or meet some of those lecturers, we're going to be having lunch every day. There's catered lunch in the Alder Commons area right out here. And the lecturers should be around, and you should feel free to just walk up and talk to them and sit with them at lunch, and that's great. If you are online, you should feel free to direct message the instructors you want to talk to and ask them for a Zoom office hour. Please ask. If you have trouble getting a hold of someone, you can feel free to let me know. Additionally, some of these instructors are going to be entirely online, and this year, we're trying something a little bit different than in past years. I am one of your organizers, and I am the in-person organizer, and Ariel Rokum is the online organizer. So for everyone who's online, Ariel is kind of your primary organizer, and about half of our instructors will be entirely online as well. Okay, if you're on Zoom, what you're seeing now is the schedule for week 2. And what you'll probably notice is that the schedule for week 2 has a lot less on it than the schedule for week 1. And that's because we expect you in week 2 to primarily be spending a lot of time working on hack projects. And we'll talk in just a minute a little bit more about the hack projects. Okay, Ariel, I think I'm going to hand it over to you.
Yeah, can you hear me well there?
We can hear you.
Excellent. Okay, and I'll start my bit here. Hi, everyone. So as Noah mentioned, my name is Ariel, and I'm trying to present my slides here. Are you seeing my slides? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, and we're trying this out. So as Noah mentioned, I am not in Seattle. I am in Toronto, where I recently moved, and I'll be doing this kind of hybrid part online. So let's talk a little bit about this hybrid format. As Noah mentioned, all the lectures will take place on Zoom. So whether you're in the room with Noah or you're online with me or with everyone else, you will be coming to Zoom in order to see the lectures. If you're in person, of course, you don't need to go into Zoom. You'll see it in front of you. But they will be all there on Zoom. Recordings will be made available as soon as possible. And then within the Alder space where you are in person, there are these owl cameras. I imagine there's one right there in the room that someone can point to, which are special cameras that are dedicated to this kind of hybrid online in-person combinations. And there are laptops that are connected to that so that you can walk up to one of these owl cameras and connect to other people that are in the Zoom side of things so that both people who are in person and Alder, people who are in Zoom can kind of easily connect with each other. Um, so if you are in Alder, you go to one of the rooms, log in with the password ESI1234, a very safe password, and click on the desktop link that exists in every laptop that connects then to the relevant Zoom room. If you're remote, you'll go to the JupyterHub. I'll show you in a second the JupyterHub. Some of you might have already connected to the JupyterHub. If you already logged into the JupyterHub, then when you land in the JupyterHub, you'll see something that looks like this. And if you navigate through this shared folder to a docs folder, there is a page here with Zoom links. And this is a kind of like a web page inside of here. Importantly, you can't just click on one of these things and it'll take you to the Zoom room. As you can see, there's Zoom rooms here. Each one of these Zoom rooms that are linked from these blue links is also a space in Alder, in where the in-person crowd is. So if you want to join lectures that are happening in Alder Auditorium, you can open this in a new tab. You can't click directly for security reasons. The JupyterHub doesn't let you directly click on this link, but it will let you right click on this and then open the link in a new tab, which should send you to the right place. So when you see in the schedule, which is also here in PDF, you see that a lecture is taking place in Alder Auditorium and you'd like to attend that one, the right thing to do is to go here, right click on that, and then click on this new tab, and that should send you to the right place. Okay, back to the slides. All right. I should say philosophically, just in general, the goal of this hybrid format is to enable as much accessibility to these contents, the NeuroHackademy in general, to make it possible for people all over the world to access this. We think it's also really important for us to learn how to work like this because we're geographically distributed and neuroscience is an international endeavor, and it should be easy for us all to collaborate together. We realize that the experience that people that are on Zoom have is not exactly the same experience that the people in Seattle have sitting there in Alder Hall, but we hope that those are both valuable experiences and that you get as much as possible. As Noah mentioned, for the first time this year, one of the organizers, me, is actually in a different place, and I am actually 3 hours, I'm in Eastern Standard Time, so I'm 3 hours closer to people in Europe, closer to people on the East Coast who are logging through Zoom, and hopefully that should make it easier for us all to coordinate things. Okay. One important thing is to fill in a media release form, which will allow us then to record you and to publish the recordings on Zoom. I don't think I saw the media release form on here yet, but we'll make sure that you can get the media release form from here before too long. I'll do that immediately after this lecture. So we'll want you to fill in a media release form and share that with us so that we can post videos that contain your information on YouTube so that others can see it. All right, some of the infrastructure that we use for the course. So we'll use Slack all the time, and Slack is the main channel for communication. You've already seen the Slack, but let me point out a few of its features. Let me drag it. Let me see if I can drag it in here. I need to this. No, don't let me. Okay, I'll just use words in order to describe what I would have shown you. One is that there are a few channels that are sort of course-wide channels. The All NeuroHackademy 2026 channel. So this hashtag at the beginning is assigned that this is a Slack channel. That Slack channel is for everyone, for general discussions and questions. If you're wondering where you're supposed to go, what's going on, when we're resuming things, that's a good place to do that. There's an announcements channel, and that's one that we would like to use for our use to just broadcast things that everyone needs to hear. So let's keep that one relatively for organizers to just blast things out so that you have a place that you can go if you're just trying to figure out what's happening next and have we broadcast the channel. If you haven't yet, go and introduce yourself. There's a channel called Introductions where many of us have already written introductions for ourselves. I hope pretty much everyone has done that. And then there's a lecture tutorial. There's a channel for every lecture and tutorial. Actually, it's not welcome for this one. It's usually we'll use the name of the instructor, like in this case, NBEN for Noah Benson, -- welcome to NHA. And you can add channels. Let me see if I can get this to go to the right place. You can add channels. Sorry, let me try to get this going here. I can actually show you. Oh, here we go. All right, so here I am in this channel for this lecture. There's also a channel for the JupyterHub. If you have issues with the JupyterHub, that's the place to go. You'll notice there's no chat on the Zoom that we're sitting on right now. So if you have any questions about this lecture, for example, you'll go here. And then when we announce every lecture in the announcements, we will also say, hey, go to this channel for questions about this particular lecture. And that is that. There's also, of course, DMs that you can use, and you can create new channels if you want right here by clicking this plus symbol. You can browse all the channels that are available by clicking on the browse channels. That'll take you to this view that shows you all the channels. One channel worth joining is this hackstorming channel, where we will do all our brainstorming about hacks. But more about that in just a second. What's this now? Go back to the slides. All right. More infrastructure is the JupyterHub. So this is the link to the JupyterHub, neuroacademy.2i2c.cloud. A JupyterHub is an environment, a computational environment that allows us to share with you materials, but also allows us to share data and allows us to all use the same computational environment together. There is a shared folder, and the shared folder will contain shared data sets, but also shared documentation. The shared/docs directory in your home directory is the place where we put, for example, the schedule and the links to the Zoom rooms and so on. We're going to use Zoom. I mean, as I mentioned, Zoom rooms are matched with physical spaces. So when a lecture is taking place in a particular room in Alder, it also takes place in a corresponding Zoom room in Zoom. And that's all accessible through this shared docs. We'll show you more about the JupyterHub in, I believe, the first lecture that we do. We'll show you a little bit of more of the kind of bells and whistles that the JupyterHub has. I'll just show one kind of general thing for all of you is that this is where all the files are going to be on this side. So if you click on this kind of file view, that's where you'll see this file browser. That's where you can see files. And one thing to note is that there is a curriculum folder where we share materials for many of the lectures. It looks to be populated with some old material from last year. So we will clean this up so that it has the right, it's pointing to the right materials before too long. Okay. And then, as I said, we'll show you some more of that later this afternoon. Okay. Like I said, we've intentionally turned off the chat for Zoom. Go to Slack instead. The reason we did that is that the chat disappears as soon as the call disappears. So it's better to have a more permanent record in Slack, or at least for the time of our course. On week 2, we will have several of these OWL cameras available for collaboration between people who are in person in Seattle and people who are in Zoom. And other tools, Jupyter Notebooks, Git and GitHub, Docker, all those are materials that we will talk about throughout the lectures in this first week. Okay, Noah mentioned in the schedule that there's the second week where there's just not a lot scheduled, and that's because we want you to create the schedule for week 2. We expect that you will organize into groups to do together focused on and/or playful exploration of ideas. That's the hackathon week. This is the reason this is called NeuroHackademy. It has 1 week of lectures and has 1 week of hacking together. Hacking together can be focused and/or playful exploration of ideas and can take many, many different forms. It can be a data analysis that you want to do, like you've thought about some idea for some data set that you know about, maybe one of the open available data sets that we will talk about throughout this week, and you want to explore that and try something out. Maybe it's a software implementation. We'll talk a lot about how to implement data analysis in software, so this will be an opportunity to do that as well if you want to get your more experience implementing software. It can be an epic poem if that's what you want to do. And it can be really anything else in the physical or the digital world that you would like to create through that week. I'd recommend exploring something that's different from what you do in your day-to-day. So if in your day-to-day you work with functional MRI data, maybe this is an opportunity to work with electrophysiology data or with diffusion MRI data or with something else that you haven't worked on. If you're a memory person and you study memory, maybe this week you'll study early visual processing or I don't know, emotional processing or something completely different that you don't explore in your day. Okay, you say, sure, that sounds interesting and nice and potentially fun. So how does it work? So the way it works is that week 2 will start with a hackathon pitch session. First session on week 2, the morning of Monday, will be devoted to hackathon pitches. So in the hackathon pitches, any one of you who wants to pitch an idea, suggest an idea for others, can pitch that idea and can then see who wants to join them to work together on that idea. You can pitch one idea, you can pitch more ideas, you can pitch no ideas and listen to what others have to say. But after you've pitched, you can then form a team with others. If you hear something that sounds appealing, what we'll ask is when you pitch, we will ask that you create a Slack channel that goes along with that pitch, with that idea, and then people will join that Slack channel in order to coordinate where to meet in person, online, in a hybrid format somehow. And then you can use the Zoom rooms that we have in order to meet together with others, both in physical spaces and also in online spaces. You can check out projects from previous years for ideas. I'll post the links to some of the project repos in just a little bit here so that you can have some ideas for what people did in previous years. And you don't have to wait until week 2. Like I mentioned, there's a Hackstorming Slack channel, and you can start brainstorming ideas right now and throughout the week as the lectures. You hear some idea that sounds like it could be fun to hack on. Just post a brainstorming idea into Hackstorming. You can really start right now doing that. And then during week 1, starting tomorrow, we will start doing group mini projects. So that's like a way to practice. And the group mini projects are a lot more structured. We will tell you what the data set is. We will tell you who your group is. We will give you a particular question for that. And this will give you an opportunity to practice a few of the collaborative tools, the use of Slack and Zoom and Git and GitHub and JupyterHub and all of those things together in order to collaborate. So this will give you a little opportunity to do a little practice run during week 1 that you will then put into practice again in week 2. Okay, in NeuroHackademy, collaboration is not optional. Be proactive, reach out to people, ask a lot of questions from us, from others, from lecturers. Try something new. Find your birds of a feather. There are people here in NeuroHackademy that work on things that are similar to what you work. If you go to the introductions channel, you'll see already many people have discussed what their research interests are, where they are in the world, what their hobbies are even. And we'll do a little bit more conversations like that in the icebreaker that will come soon. And so find people who are interested in things that you're interested in. Reach out to them. Meet with them during the coffee break over in person or over Zoom. Take the opportunity. And then check out the social channel on Slack for social events. Finally, NeuroHackademy can be pretty intense. It goes, around the clock a little bit, and or the hours are pretty long, and you get into things. Take some time off if you need it. If you're in Seattle, walk down to the water and breathe some air. If you're somewhere else, go and get a coffee or talk to your colleagues, your family, your friends. Take some time off. Also in week 2, we will have an opportunity for people to sign up to give a short lightning talk. I will give you more information just a bit here in the announcements, how to sign up to give a short talk. These lightning talks will take place, I think, on Wednesday afternoon, if I remember correctly, the schedule. And those should be really short. It should be 1 slide and 5 minutes. And we'll try to cram as many as possible. And it can be about anything at all. It could be about the research that you do in your day-to-day. It could be about some topic that you're interested in. It could be about a topic unrelated to NeuroHackademy that you want to tell people about. So definitely sign up to do that. It's a fun opportunity to give a short talk, introduce yourself to others, and just hear about what people are doing. That channel doesn't exist yet, but I will create it just as soon as we're done here. And then I'll link to a form to that you will fill out to tell us that you'd like to do that. Okay, other opportunities on week 2 are to engage in what are called breakout sessions. Several of the speakers are going to be around. Others can join through Zoom, and we can do review sessions or discussion sessions about topics relevant to the work of the lectures, or to other topics if you want to arrange to have a room available or a Zoom room available to have a discussion about a particular topic. This is an opportunity to get together with other birds of your feather to discuss any topic at all. If you want one of us to follow up on one of the lectures that we give this week, we can do a review session of some of those materials as well, or extend some of those materials to dive a little bit deeper into some of those topics. Okay, I mentioned that this is going to be intense and the schedule is busy and maybe it puts a lot of pressure, I think, on people. Another element of this kind of event that puts a little bit of pressure on people is the feeling of imposter syndrome. As we all know, mental health related stress is a major concern in academic settings just generally. And if you are struggling with mental health during the course, please take care of yourself. We are not mental health professionals, but we can discuss any concerns you have confidentially, and you can reach out to us for resources and for help of any kind. If you have any concerns, just reach out to us. One thing I want to point out in particular is the prevalence of imposter syndrome in these kinds of settings. Imposter syndrome is the belief that you're not qualified. You might be sitting here thinking, well, you're talking about hacking and about all this software stuff. I don't know these things. And believe us, that is exactly the reason that you are here. You're here to learn these things. And if you talk to other people, they might tell you about things they know. And you might feel, oh, okay, these people all know all these things that I don't know. Just trust us that you are here. You're in the right place. So if you feel a little bit of this imposter syndrome, just believe me for now that you're meant to be here, and just go with the flow and try to learn as much as possible. Please be kind if other participants ask for help. We're here to learn together, and really we can't talk one-on-one with everyone here. And so your colleagues, your co-participants in this event are a great resource. If somebody is struggling to learn something, be kind and help them. We're here to learn together. That said, for everyone here, there are, especially those in Seattle, these are some resources if you're feeling real distress related to mental health. This is the service in Washington to connect to community mental health resources. This is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. I know that other places have similar. 988 is a very popular phone number for many of these. And then this is the King County Crisis Line. We'll have these slides available. You can refer to that later. Finally, one more thing to mention is the NeuroHackademy Code of Conduct. Our code of conduct states that we are dedicated to harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender, gender identity expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, ethnicity, age, religion, or choice of technologies. And that means that we don't accept any form of harassment that is based on any of these categories. There's much more detail in that link there. What we'd like to set up is a little bit also a way for people to, if you experience harassment based on one of these categories, or you feel that someone has done something that is inappropriate in any way that is against the code of conduct, we would like you to report to us. We understand that that's not always the easiest thing to do. And so what we'd like to ask is for two participants, to volunteer to be part of a code of conduct response team. And that means that can be someone that you can go to who's one of the participants to mention if something has happened, and they can convey that to us in an anonymous form if needed, and just prompt action from us in that way. And that means that then you can communicate any violation of the code of conduct to us or to these team members. Okay, and I think that concludes these slides.
Right. So at this point, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to give you all a very quick whirlwind tour of the JupyterHub and to introduce the Icebreaker. So we're going to have an Icebreaker. It's going to be fairly quick and painless. And I'm going to explain it here in just a second. But let me begin by sharing my screen. I'll just say, I know a few people came in a little late. If you are not in the Slack yet or don't have access to the JupyterHub yet, when the Icebreaker starts in a minute, come down here and talk to me. Or if you're online, talk to Ariel. And we'll get you figured out. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Can everyone in Zoom see my browser, my empty browser tab? Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to the JupyterHub. Our JupyterHub is at neurohackademy.2i2c.cloud. If you've already logged in, you might just get a JupyterHub. It might just load for you. For me, it's showing this server options. I'm just going to click this big start button. And that will start up a Jupyter server for me. Basically, this is going to be a little Jupyter instance running in the cloud that is my Jupyter instance. When you do the same thing, you'll get an identical Jupyter or almost identical Jupyter instance that's running for you. And as Ariel already said, these already have like the libraries and stuff we're going to be using in the course installed on them. And we've got data up there already that we'll be using later. So this is a great tool. You'll be using it all 2 weeks. This also means that you don't have to use your computer's own memory and CPU and stuff to do projects here. You can use the JupyterHub, and that's how we're going to recommend you do everything. Okay, yeah.
No, so at the beginning of JupyterHub, where it says server options, it has an option for like a GPU machine.
Yeah, so there's 2 options. One is a normal hub image, and one is a hub image GPU. So what I'm going to say is you should use the GPUs if you have a reason to use the GPUs. Like if you are doing so, like in week 2, if you are training some machine learning models and a GPU makes sense, use a GPU. If you don't need a GPU, it's a little more expensive for us. It's not that big a deal. But ask for the GPU when you need a GPU, not just every time. These will automatically die after a while. So like if you're not actively using it, it will shut down after a while. And that's also to save us some money. But again, you don't need to worry about the money part of it. Just use the GPU when you need it, not just every time. Other than the GPU being available, they should be identical environments. They shouldn't actually be different, just that there should be a GPU available. Okay. So when you started up the JupyterHub, you probably didn't get this terminal like I do. I'm actually going to exit out of here. And you probably saw something a little more like this. What I'm going to do right now is go into curriculum. Now, Ariel, I don't know why your curriculum and my curriculum are different. Does everyone else, when you go to curriculum, do you see something like what I'm seeing here? Okay, good.
I think I pulled early. I logged in and pulled early before we changed it, so it's all good.
Okay. So, whoops. So what I'm going to do here is go to Benson Rokem Intro in the curriculum folder. So if you, just in case anyone's lost here, if you click this little folder here, it'll take you back to your home directory, and you can go into curriculum and then Benson Rokem Intro. And there is an icebreaker.ipynb here. If you just double click on that, it should open up the Icebreaker notebook over here on the right. And okay, some of you are online, some of you are in person. We're all going to do the Icebreaker together, even if you're online. What you need to do is down here in this code cell. So you'll notice this is all documentation. We'll talk more about the Jupyter environment in the intro to Python session later. This is a code cell. If you are in person, make sure this is true. Oops, if I can type. If you are not in person, make sure it's false. And then hold down Shift and press Enter, and it will give you a random series of 5 places to be. The way the icebreaker is going to work is if you are online, you are going to go to those Zoom rooms in order. And in a few minutes here, I'm going to say, okay, go to your room 1. And everyone here in person is going to get up and go to their room 1. And everyone who's online is going to go to the Zoom room matching their room 1. Over the Slack social channel, I'm going to post some question, which is a discussion topic. And okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. First of all, this is a map of this space for all of us who are in person. So I'm just going to really quick try to orient us all. Right now, we're in the Alder Auditorium. And if one of your rooms is Alder Auditorium, that means come down to this podium right here. And you're going to talk to people online using this laptop. Okay. In all of these other rooms where there's a star on this map, if it's one of these yellow stars, there will be a laptop set up that has an owl connected to it, and it'll be in the appropriate room. So you'll go and you'll talk to the online people using that owl and that laptop. You're going to see them on the laptop. We can't project to the screens in those rooms for some reason, but you're going to see them on the laptop. For people online, you'll be talking to them through this owl interface. So this is kind of an opportunity to practice with the owls a little bit. If these two red stars, those will only come up if you're if you're one of the in-person people, and there's no owl there. That's just an in-person meetup because there's more people in person than there are online. Okay, this is the Alder Auditorium. Alder 103 is this room right over here. This area over here is the Alder Commons. And then kind of behind the auditorium here is Alder 105 and 106. And then down this hallway towards the restrooms is Alder 107, which is this room up here. So those are the places that your icebreaker is going to tell you to go. Okay, that's your quick introduction to like the space. The way this is going to work is I'm going to give everyone a couple minutes to get to their room. Once you're all gathered around the room, there'll be a prompt that comes through the social channel, and it's going to be some question. And here, as an example question, if you could either have telekinetic or telepathic powers, which would you choose? Okay, here's the important part. In academia, we have this tendency whenever we get introduced to start with like, oh, hi, my name is Noah Benson, and I study blah, 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 and I'm really interested in this topic, and I'm in so-and-so's lab, and just to kind of keep going on and on. Don't do that. Well, we don't have very much time for this icebreaker. What we want you to do is follow this formula. You go, my name is, you give your name, I am interested in, and then you give like just 2 or 3 words, and I really just mean like 2 or 3 words about what you study and why you're here. So for me, I would say something like, my name is Noah Benson, I'm interested in human vision, and I would pick telepathy because it would let me talk to my cat. That's about as long as we want those answers to be. And if you get through the whole group that's in your room, by all means, keep talking to each other until the next session. But we want everyone to have an opportunity to at least answer the question. So that's why we use this formula. Any questions before I release everyone to the rooms? Did anyone, and again, if you aren't able to get into the if you aren't able to get into either the Slack or the JupyterHub yet, come down and talk to me as soon as we start. Okay, yeah, question.
Don't mind accessing the JupyterHub, so.
Okay, just come talk to me at the beginning here. Yeah.